Now at 10, Quapaw Nation celebrates its annual Heritage Powwow event. Plus, Keltori Winery holds a red wine and blue event in honor of 4th of July holiday. And we have some boating tips to keep in mind before going out onto the water for Independence Day.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
An Elk City, Kansas woman was killed after being hit by an emergency vehicle. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Amber Jenkins. It happened just before 10 o'clock last night on Franklin Street, south of Sycamore Street. Authorities say the emergency vehicle was responding to a medical call with its emergency lights activated. They say it then made a wide turn and hit 72-year-old Victoria Eddington, who was sitting in a car on the west side of Franklin Street. Eddington was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver and passenger of the emergency vehicle were not injured. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us for the first look at weather.
All right, thank you very much. We are expecting a hot day again tomorrow with lots of sunshine, and on the UV index, that's going to be about a 10 on the scale up to 12, and that means about 15 to 25 minutes you start to burn. So make sure you take plenty of precautions, including a hat, sunglasses, of course sunscreen, find the shade, and limit your time outdoors. At the lakes, we're expecting mostly fair conditions. They're generally right where they're supposed to be on Grand, 80-degree water temperature, and over at Table Rock, we're looking at a temperature of about 84 degrees in the water and about a foot above normal. Stockton right now is a little bit higher at 1.02, but still not too bad, and 74 degrees on its water temperature. 4th of July forecast looks like this. We're going to see partly cloudy skies in the morning with a low of around 69, and then in the afternoon, isolated thunderstorms possible, about 20% coverage, a high of 94, and then by fireworks time, around 86 degrees. I'll have more details in the forecast when we come back.
The Quapaw Nation is celebrating its 151st annual powwow this weekend. A part of that celebration was the creation and discovery of a Quapaw ancestry. Those who were in attendance and were curious got a chance to sit down and look back on their heritage, making new discoveries and sentimenting history for themselves and the Quapaw Nation.
So I've traveled all over the United States and various places around Quapaw and in Oklahoma and Arkansas, Missouri and Kansas and whatever. And I've been to all the archives in Dallas and Washington, D.C. and collecting information.
As people, as our tribe, as well as other indigenous nations, as they, move away and spread out even further, to be able to provide that linkage and that history back to who they came from, it strengthens those bonds so that they know they always came from home.
The Quapaw Powwow will continue through the 4th of July and has events for all ages throughout the weekend. Keltori Winery is throwing their own 4th of July celebration. The winery in Jasper is celebrating 25 years of business and has created a fun red, white, and blue slushie specifically for this time of the year.
It's really great, and people are looking for something to do on a holiday like this, and we are kid friendly, we're pet friendly, because you see around here dogs and some cats and the kids and everything, and they get out here and they can walk around the property. A little hot today, but we have a park there in back. A lot of folks like to go down there and make a little pilgrimage to go and kiss the Blarney Stone.
The winery is also supporting a 5-week campaign to raise funds for Foes of Honor. Those who donate will have their names displayed at the winery. The Lake of the Ozarks are gearing up for a busy, hot 4th of July. Reporter Marina Silva talked to some police and marina workers about what you need to know before hitting the water.
Good. I feel really prepared for the weekend.
Adam Morris is the manager here at Pirates Point and Sunrise Beach. His family owns the marina. He and other workers are trying to stay cool.
It's good to be able to get out of the heat a little bit or jump in the lake and cool off.
Morris says, as with any holiday, there's going to be a lot of people on the water.
There's obviously a lot more traffic out, so there's going to be rougher water conditions. So you need to be aware of the conditions and try not to have people moving around or walking around on the boat.
Lake Ozark police are expecting the same increase in traffic on land.
We will be down at the Strip at our local establishments down there, and hopefully everybody has a great time and behaves themselves.
And this dry, hot weather isn't helping.
So we're asking people, we do have an ordinance in the city that fireworks are not permitted, and I know that some local agencies have been canceling their fireworks because of how dry it's been and how hot. So we want to be mindful that we're following the ordinance. And
AAA is expecting higher gas prices on land this year, and Morris says they are definitely seeing that on the water too. Here, regular unleaded gas is $3.99.
Gas prices are a little bit higher this year than they have been in years past, but it's still not too bad. We have had higher several years ago.
But no matter what, everyone wants visitors and locals to stay safe.
We've inflated more bumpers or buoys to protect the boats that pull into our dock and keep them from possibly damaging their boat in the rougher water conditions.
Coming up, a shooting in a Kansas nightclub has left multiple people injured. Plus, a mass shooting in Baltimore leaves 2 dead and others injured. We'll have details from both of the shootings. At least 7 people were wounded in a Kansas nightclub shooting. Police say in Wichita, the shooting happened in the Old Town Entertainment District late Saturday night. Authorities also say 2 people were hurt from being trampled as crowds of people tried to leave the scene. There were no fatalities. One person, who police say they believe is one of the shooters, has been detained. 2 people are dead and 3 others are in critical condition after a mass shooting in South Baltimore. Reporter Alexis Davila has the details.
Police say at least 30 people were injured after shots were fired at a block party on the 800 block on Gretna Court. Multiple 911 calls came in around 12:30 Sunday morning, and police found several victims with gunshot wounds. 2 people are dead and 3 are critically injured.
We located 1 female adult deceased on the scene. 9 additional victims were transported from the location to area hospitals.
The University of Maryland Medical System says they treated 12 people in their shock trauma center. 4 people were also treated at the pediatric emergency department. Some people woke up this morning to the news of the tragedy and were nearly speechless.
Close to home. Yeah, crazy.
It's crazy. It's just getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
Doesn't make no sense.
Yeah.
Mayor Brandon Scott says the city will not rest until the victims' families are brought to justice.
This was the reckless, cowardly act that happened here and that has permanently altered many lives and cost 2 people their lives.
As community members send their thoughts and prayers, they feel the city is unsafe.
It's getting worse and worse in Baltimore. They need to, I don't know how they're going to fix it, but they need to fix it.
No arrests have been made yet, but police are working to determine a suspect.
We will not stop until we find you, and we will find you. Until then, I hope with every single breath that you take, that you think about the lives that you took, and you think about the lives that you impacted here tonight.
Reporting, I'm Alexis Davila for CBS News Baltimore.
A bit later, the MoKan Showdown wraps up the weekend tournament. Brock Brawledge will have the highlights and more in sports.
And we're tracking storms on the radar. I'll let you know whether they're headed our way, as well as the rest of the holiday weekend forecast when we come back. Well, so far this holiday weekend, things have been pretty nice out there. A little bit on the warm side, but that's typical for the 4th of July. Let's take a look outside this morning at Seneca, Missouri, at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. And as we go through the day, you can see the clouds started to develop as we head through the afternoon hours with just some puffy cumulus clouds, and then mostly fair skies this afternoon, and allowed temperatures to warm up into the upper 80s to around 90 degrees, including Joplin. And that was, in fact, our high today, 89, which was right on target for normal, and 67 the low, which was slightly below. And of course, we're way below on the rainfall at 8.73 inches so far this year. There are some storms, but they're way out to the west in western Kansas. They're kind of making a dive to the south and east, and they're also starting to fall apart a little bit. 1 or 2 of these showers might scrape by our western counties by tomorrow morning, but mainly just some clouds from that, not really expecting any precipitation by morning. Instead, we're looking at temperatures right now in the mid-70s and pretty comfortable out there. 72 up in Stockton, 76 in Cassville, pick out your hometown, 78 there in Welch, and 76 in Independence with light variable winds. And as we go through the day tomorrow, we're going to see the heat index starting getting back up into the mid-90s once again, lower 90s to the east, mid-90s out towards the west. And then for the 4th of July, we're expecting heat indexes to be over 100, especially on the Kansas and Oklahoma side, a little bit cooler off towards the east as far as what it's going to feel like. Rain chances are going to remain low tonight and through most of tomorrow. and maybe some isolated thunderstorms as we go into Tuesday, because we do have a piece of energy that's going to drop down from the north, and that's going to increase our storm chances just a little bit. I don't think it's going to be a big factor for the 4th of July, but as we go into Wednesday night and Thursday morning, that's when we start to see a cold front approach from the north and west, and some of those storms could be strong or severe, especially up to the north and east of us. And then on Thursday morning, that moves through and moves out of the way, and we are left with mostly fair skies and cooler temperatures. I think everyone's going to enjoy that. Temperatures are going to be in the 90s, and rainfall amounts are going to be around ½ an inch in some of the heavier storms, maybe approaching an inch in some isolated areas, but hopefully everyone will get a little bit of something before the forecast ends. And as we look at the severe weather risk, again, that's going to be mainly in the northeastern sections for Wednesday night into Thursday morning. We'll keep an eye on that for you, as all of the risks are going to be on the low side. Temperatures tonight are going to be in the 60s and 70s, and then tomorrow we're going to see partly cloudy skies with the best chance of storms out towards the west, and highs should make it into the low 90s. And then as we go into Monday night into Tuesday morning, looking like mostly fair skies with temperatures around 70. And then in the afternoon, again, highs in the low to mid 90s, especially out towards the west, with the best chance of storms in the eastern sections. And then on Wednesday morning, we have a wave moving by up towards our north with temperatures in the 70s. How about the next 7 days? Well, here you go. 20% chance of storms tomorrow, again, the best chance out to the west. And on Tuesday, 20% chance of storms, mainly in the east. And then Wednesday night and Thursday, that's when the best chance of storms for the entire area is going to be. And then 83 for the high on Thursday. Can't complain about that. And then 91 next Sunday. So that's actually closer to normal. So it could be much worse this time of year, that's for sure.
It could be worse, but I know we need that rain.
We certainly do.
Thank you. We've been warning you about this week's heat, and with these dangerous temperatures, the inside of a car can be just as deadly in just a minute. One thing to keep in mind is that a child's body can heat up 3 to 5 times faster than that of an adult's, so they're quite a bit more susceptible to the heat than parents may realize. Experts say a child's body really only needs to reach about 107 degrees before it becomes fatal. In recent years, the number of deaths in hot cars have increased in an average of 40 deaths a year to more than 50 deaths a year. Millions of Americans are hitting the roads and taking to the sky for this 4th of July, with travel set to break records, and in many destinations, there's record-setting heat. Bradley Blackburn has the latest on the hot and hectic holiday weekend.
4th of July celebrations are already getting started with fireworks over Chicago's Navy Pier Saturday. And holiday travel is booming too. AAA expects more than 50 million people will travel this holiday weekend, most by car. Still, plenty are braving the airports. 4 million passengers are expected to travel by air following a nightmare travel week with tens of thousands of delays and cancellations due to severe weather.
Once my connecting flight got canceled, I knew I was going to beg at every counter that I get to.
More storms are possible in parts of the Midwest and East through the weekend. Out west, Northern California is being scorched by an intense heat wave. On Saturday, Sacramento hit 109 degrees, tying an all-time record. In the Bay Area, water guns, fans,
coco, vainilla,
and ice cream were some help in rare 100-degree heat.
I haven't been in 100 degrees in a long time.
In LA, firefighters are dealing with heat exhaustion calls.
So people are used to the heat, so they'll go out for a hike or for a run, realize that it's hotter than they're expecting, and then they just didn't have enough water on board.
And Texas is still roasting, with Austin and Fort Worth in triple-digit temperatures nearly every day last week. The CDC says more than 1,000 patients a day have visited emergency rooms in Texas and nearby states for heat-related illnesses. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Still ahead, the Joplin Outlaws face Mink League rival Nevada this evening. Plus, American Legion Baseball continues in Pittsburgh this weekend. Brock will have that breakdown on all the highlights next in sports.
On Sunday, American Legion Baseball Tournament Mocan Showdown wrapped up their final games this weekend from all over the southeast Kansas area. Teams in Kansas face teams in Missouri. The state with the most wins at the end of the tournament will have bragging rights. Pittsburgh's Post 64 Patriots are taking on Lee Summit out of Post 189. We pick things up in the bottom of the 5th inning. Pittsburgh down 2-0 until Quentin Fears launches his ball deep out to North Georgia Street. See you later. Solo home run. Pittsburgh down by only 1 now, 2-1 ball game. In the top of the 6th now, starting pitcher Jonas Sparks gets a big strikeout there to keep his team in the game. Go to the bottom of the 7th now. Same score. Trevor Amershek at the plate. Clutch piece of hitting there. He keeps it fair down the line. Tucker Atkins will race around home. He will score. Pittsburgh ties the game off the RBI double 2-2. So we head to extra innings now. Top of the 8th. Lee Summit's Dom Metcalf puts down the suicide squeeze bunt. Lee Summit will take the lead off that. Pittsburgh down 3-2. Unfortunately, we had a major injury in this game after 2 outfielders collided who would not continue to play on. So the final score of this game, Lee Summit beats Pittsburgh 5-2. According to a parent in the stands, sounds like the young man's going to be okay. So in the next game, Iola post 15 taking on Oak Grove post 379. Bottom of the 1st now. Iola down 1-0. Sam Hull pulls this ball down the left field line, bounces off of the wall. 2 runs are going to come in to score. Iola takes the lead, going up 2-1. Bottom of the 3rd now, same score. Brandon McCarron at the plate gives this ball a ride to deep right field. That will ricochet off the wall out there. McCarron is going to race around the bases and slide in at 3rd for an RBI triple. Iola leads 3-1 now. Later in the inning, Caden Barnett squeaks this ball through the left side. RBI single. McCarron will score. It's been all over the highlights tonight. Iola goes up 4-1. Iola does not slow down the scoring. They go on to win this game 11-1 over Oak Grove. The Joplin Outlaws come into Sunday night, meeting Nevada Griffins once again. The Outlaws are on a 3-game winning streak. Meanwhile, Nevada is yet to lose to Joplin this season. So, in Nevada tonight, the Outlaws look to keep the hot streak going. Joplin's Outlaws offense as of recently doesn't seem like it's slowing down. Joplin wins tonight 13-0. With this win, the Outlaws are now in 1st place in the Mink League South. Joplin picks up their 1st win of the year against Nevada. Also, Colden Howerton picks up 5 RBIs for Joplin tonight. The Kansas City Royals and the St. Louis Cardinals are bottom feeders in the American and National League this year. But this weekend, the 2 teams in Missouri have a chance to take a crack at the big dogs. Royals and Dodgers at Kauffman Stadium. Bottom of the 2nd inning, Michael Garcia shoots this ball into center field. Drew Waters will come in sliding home safely. Royals take a 1-0 lead. 4th inning now, game tied at 1. Nicky Lopez hits this to right field. Waters and Kyle Isbell will both score. Nicky Lopez will be safe at 2nd base. Royals go up 3-1 after the 2-run double. Later in the inning, Bobby Witt Jr. comes up to the plate, looking like a good ball player recently. Hits this past the infield. Nicky Lopez will score. Royals are now up 4-1. Flash forward to the bottom of the 5th now. Same score. Drew Waters hooks this down the line. RBI double. Royals beat the Dodgers 9-1. And they go on to win the series. Cardinals and Yankees at Busch Stadium. Bottom of the 4th, Jordan Walker with a laser beam up the middle. RBI single for Walker. Card strike first, 1-0. We skip ahead to the 7th inning now. 2-1 St. Louis. Brendan Donovan. There it goes. See ya. 2-run homer for the Cardinals. They now lead at 4-1 off of Brendan Donovan's 2-run homer. To the 8th inning now. Dylan Carlson stealing 3rd base, and this ball's going to be thrown away. Costly error by the Yankees. St. Louis scores and now leads 5-1. The Cardinals win. St. Louis beats the Yankees 5-1. Cardinals win the series. That'll be it with sports. We'll be right back with more news after this.
A community comes together to celebrate a retiring garbage man. He's a man this neighborhood believes that brought more than he took away. Reporter Madeline O'Neill has more on this story.
I think he's a legend.
Simple, everyday actions.
Thanks. Steve was like the best of the best.
Can pile up into something much greater.
Right now I'm just feeling sad because I think it's the end of an era.
As Steve Schulteis went to leave his Fox Point Department of Public Works job for the last time. People whose houses he'd visit every day surprised the garbage collector by coming to him.
The kindness in this village is like, I can't even explain it. It's pretty powerful. It is.
When he'd pick up trash, Steve would treasure the moments.
Words do not describe how and what they meant to me.
We're gonna miss you so much.
Building relationships with families he easily could have never met.
You know, getting invited to birthday parties and getting pictures of moms that had babies. So thanks, little buddy.
During Steve's last week, smiley faces like the one on his scooter popped up all over the neighborhood.
It was just heartwarming because there was, I mean, there's probably 1,000 of them out there, you know.
He made every single person that he saw feel like they were the only person. I honestly thought I was the only person that he ever gave a hug to until I found him hugging one of my best friends and I called him a cheater.
Steve's known not for what he'd take away, but what he would leave behind, including lessons like this.
I always say, if you be kind, people will be kind in return. There's no doubt about it.
Kindness does go a long way. What's going on with weather?
Well, we have some storms in our forecast, but it's mainly going to be waiting till Wednesday night and Thursday. 4th of July looks okay with a 94-degree high, but look at the cooler temperatures on Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday. We could be well over 100, but it looks like we're going to be closer to normal, so not too bad.
All right. Well, what's going on with sports?
If you live in the southeast Kansas area and you've never seen the Joplin Outlaws play and you want to see the Joplin Outlaws play, they will be at Pittsburgh State University tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. So if you live in Frontenac, Columbus, Girard, wherever, and you want to see the Joplin Outlaws play, they'll be at Al Ortolani Field at Pitt State University. Joplin Outlaws will take on the Nevada Griffins once again.
Nice. Sounds like it's going to be a good game.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, that's our time for now. Thank you for making us a part of your night.